Would it surprise you to learn that choosing the cheapest homeowner's insurance policy could end up costing you thousands of dollars when you file a claim? Today, we're going to show you what every homeowner should know before buying or renewing their homeowner's insurance policy. So today's episode, we're going to talk about something that isn't always the most exciting part of home ownership, but it's one of the most important. Homeowners insurance protects one of your biggest financial investments, yet many people don't fully understand what their policy covers until they have to file a claim. It's also one of the largest pieces of your monthly housing payment. While websites like Zillow can estimate your mortgage payment, they can't accurately estimate what you'll actually pay for homeowners insurance. So that means your monthly payment could be higher or lower than what you expect. Today, I'm visiting with Andrew Yao, who's with Decisive Insurance Agency, and we're going to talk about all things homeowners insurance. So Andrew, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to visit with me and to share with my audience. I really appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me, Ann.
Absolutely. So Andrew, I know we've been partnering together for about 10 years now. I met your partner back in 2017, and you've not just helped me and my family personally, but you've helped many of my clients. And one of the things I appreciate about you the most is you guys give that personal touch. So why don't you introduce yourself and your company? Tell us how long you've been in the insurance business. What is the thing that really makes you most passionate, or what do you love most about working with your customers?
Well, thanks, Ann. I would say I've been in the industry for about 12 years now. Decisive, with my business partner, has been around for 10 years. And one of the things that I'm most passionate about is helping people get the knowledge and the customer service that they don't typically get in the industry currently.
I love that, because that's really becoming such a lost art in this era, is giving that personal touch and, being so reliable to where people know you, like you, trust you. They can pick up the phone and call, and they understand that, you're going to give them the best guidance and the best support in what they're needing your help with. So
Yeah, I try to be as accessible as possible within reason. I take calls like in the evenings and the weekends, but most people are, respectful with my time, and they're appreciative of, me wanting to take care of them.
absolutely, absolutely. So Andrew, as a realtor that serves clients in the North Texas area and appreciates the opportunity to be able to send my clients to trusted advisors like yourself, how do those clients know, particularly and especially first-time home buyers, how do they know that they have the right coverages, the right endorsements in their policy to protect what's potentially their biggest asset?
That's a great question, Ann. So a lot of people don't know, but insurance is different in each state, even within this same company. So a certain carrier could offer a policy in another state and be a third or fourth of the price and include everything. But here in Texas, they will be 3 or 4 times more expensive, and they'll have certain endorsements that are taken out that you have to add back in. And if they're not added back in, then you may not have coverage for that cause of loss, is where the claims kind of originate from. And so that you need to make sure that you have that coverage for. So for an example, seepage and leakage, it's a slow hidden leak in the walls, attic, could be coming from water heater or under the sink. That can cause devastatingly large claims, and people could not be covered for it at all.
So if I understand what you're saying, a homeowner that's shopping for a policy and someone gives them a quote, especially here in North Texas, may not have some of the most important key components associated with that policy that would protect them in the event of a leak.
Absolutely. I've had so many situations where someone came to me with the same quote, but it was slightly cheaper. And the company is a high quality company, but it could be just a matter of placement of certain coverages, one that they just may not even need, and another one that's so important it's worth paying just a little extra. And when I say a little extra, it could be not that much at all. But not knowing that you don't have the coverage can lead to large losses without coverage, as opposed to paying a little bit more and having that coverage for all of it.
Interesting. So, Andrew, what you're sharing with us specifically around what happens with insurance policies here in North Texas, for someone that doesn't know anything about insurance, it can be alarming and scary at the same time because people don't know what they don't know. So, as you mentioned, adding back in that seepage and leakage endorsement, what are some other endorsements that aren't standard to a Texas policy that buyers or homeowners should be adding back into the policy?
Absolutely. So even within seepage and leakage, I mean, the context in which you need it, like older home would obviously need it more, but even a new home could benefit from it too. It's not just pipes getting old, but other endorsements or coverages that need to be added back are service line coverage that basically cover you with a pipe from the edge of your foundation to the city.
Okay.
If there's tree roots or, the cast iron pipes are getting old, or something's just, it's not functioning properly, you can, it's usually about $5,000 to $10,000 to have that fix done. And then it usually has a lower deductible on the policy. So that can be good to have. Water backup, if the blockage is on the property, you'll pay up to a certain limit. Whether, there's a blockage comes back in and causes that damage. If the blockage is off the property, it will actually be covered by the city. And what a lot of people don't know is foundation coverage covers not just if there's, hot, cold, wet, dry, heaving, so the foundation moves, but actually it needs to be a pipe under the foundation that's leaking, causing that foundation to shift.
In order for the coverage to actually apply.
Correct.
I see. So how does that relate to new construction? Because, most of the builders that I've been working with, they give a foundation warranty with the purchase of a new home. So is it equally important it sounds like it would be equally important for a buyer to have that foundation coverage?
So foundation, that's a great question. Foundation is becoming more of a coverage that is a little bit hit or miss. That would be the first one that I would take off if someone was looking to decrease the expenses, because it can be quite an expensive endorsement, but the coverage for what they're doing now is burrowing under. They used to use it to jackhammer through the slab foundation. So if you have and it's digging, that's the most expensive part. If you have a crawl space versus slab, and even the slab, it's not that useful nowadays. It can be, but usually the access to fixing the foundation is not as bad.
Right. So Andrew, you just explained how things work here in Texas in terms of what's included with the standard policy and the fact that some of the main coverages buyers need to have within their policy, they have to add those back in the form of an endorsement. Can you tell us, why is insurance so high these days? Why is it so expensive?
That's a great question. I think a lot of the blame can be spread around quite a bit. You could blame the legislators for not, making insurance more efficient, making it so that it's easier to get, or, insureds are more protected or have certain standards, right, that help protect homes and the amount of claims being paid out. You can blame the carriers for paying out claims too readily, paying out for roofs that don't need to be replaced. Roofers for just trying to make a buck. Sometimes they do things that aren't the most ethical to get claims paid for. And then also, blame the weather too, because there is just a lot of crazy weather here in North Texas. And the more north you go, the worse the prices are, and the harsher the hail claims and stuff like that are.
So it's not like a one situation answer. There's a lot that goes into the fact that, these premiums have gone up quite a bit in the last few years.
Yeah, there's a lot of blame to go around. The flip side of that is, not having the right agent could lead to you not having the coverage for what you need, right? You might be preventing a loss for, the company, right? But then at what expense?
Right. So, as we're talking about all the things that have caused insurance prices to spike, what are you guys doing at Decisive to help save your customers money on their policies?
Well, there's a couple things that one can do. The first is just making sure there's not even some small coverages that are a little bit hit or miss, such as equipment breakdown. They won't cover every item. Worst case, AC, but they will only cover certain components, and it usually doesn't hit the deductible. Personal injury is like libel, slander, unless you're super celebrity or something, usually you giving a review or opinion doesn't hurt someone that much, right? So even those small things can add up. But making sure people look at their policies holistically, so bundling that auto insurance with the home can really help. Sometimes it takes convincing to make sure that they understand, you can't just look at, even if the auto goes up a little bit, you might save a lot on the home. But also making sure that people or clients that we have aren't making small claims that could lead to them not being eligible with a company, getting them a really good deal in the future, but then also increasing their rates with future companies because that small claim showed up and is causing them to pay a lot more.
Right, right. Well, I see benefit and value in just that personal touch that we talked about that you guys offer, where we can pick up the phone and call you and get some sound, solid advice before we take that next step further based on whatever issue we're experiencing in our home.
Absolutely. I think the best way to put it is that level of concern and care. A lot of people out there, are just going through the motions, kind of clocking in for that paycheck. But I really do care and want to make sure people are taken care of and covered correctly. It's a long-term perspective. Obviously, it may not happen tomorrow, but making sure people have the coverage they need is super important.
Much appreciated, Andrew. So, Andrew, when is the best time for a buyer to start shopping for home insurance?
I usually recommend about 2 to 4 weeks before closing.
Okay.
But a lot of times, usually people wait till the last second. It's kind of the afterthought for the loan officer. I think that's a lot of times something that's tough for me is that a lot of the loan officers, just want to get things closed, and when I actually want to make sure people are covered correctly.
Right, right. So it's not necessarily one of those situations where buyers are just starting out the process and they're looking on Zillow and they're actively pursuing their purchase, and they've got maybe 3 homes that they're strongly considering based on what they see online. That would not be a good scenario to maybe pick up the phone and run those by you, or what's your opinion?
It could if there were some glaring concerns, like you were trying to decide between a house maybe further north than another one, or older than another one, or even west. A lot of the insurance carriers don't, certain counties are, they don't favor, so it is sometimes a good idea to look ahead of time. So getting someone involved in, actually maybe even speaking with your insurance agent, doesn't have to get a quote, but just understanding what areas and what to look out for as they're knowledgeable.
Nice. So, Andrew, let's say someone is comparing policies. They're shopping around, looking at different carriers. What are some of the things that they should be comparing besides the overall premium?
Yeah, so not only price, but you want to take a look at, most clients look at the limit. So it's how much they're willing to pay total for any particular item, like dwelling, which is the main structure, other structures, loss of use, personal property. The other things that they should be concerned about more than that is actual coverage or endorsements. So if something is listed on the policy, they're going to cover a claim, the house up to 500,000, let's just say. Well, if they don't have a certain endorsement covering that particular cause of loss, then they will actually not have any coverage, and the carrier could say 0 for that particular claim being paid out.
Interesting.
Also, deductibles sometimes are overlooked. Usually that's not as much, but the wind and hail deductible can be quite high. And 2% is very normal nowadays in DFW. but sometimes it's 3, 4, and 5, and people don't notice that.
Right. So, Andrew, flood insurance. I think this is one of the areas where there's a lot of confusion. So, is flood damage covered under a standard insurance policy?
Short answer, no. Rising water flood is what's described as water rising into the home. So it could come from a lake, from drainage like a creek or something like that nearby. But really, what a lot of people don't know is it can actually be from just raining hard and not enough sewers to push the water away. If it were to rain enough that the water rose up from the street into the house, that would not be covered under a typical homeowner's policy.
So, Andrew, who should consider flood insurance?
Well, a lot of people think that you just need flood insurance if you're in a flood zone. And while that might be somewhat true, there's a lot of people down in Houston that don't trust now because of, Harvey, what happened in Harvey. Levees were let loose, maps weren't completely accurate by FEMA. So they've updated that and the sewer systems. But a lot of people didn't get flood insurance, and they were regretful of that. And so now a lot of my clients in Houston just get flood insurance, and then a lot of clients in Dallas will get something if they're close to somewhere that water they're exposed to some water flow.
Is flood insurance expensive?
So it used to be not so bad. If you were not in a flood zone, you would get preferred rates, something like $200, $300, $400 a year. Nowadays, it's much higher because of all the losses that they had in Harvey and such. So they can range in Dallas like $600, $700. There is most people only look at FEMA flood, which is backed up by the state, and there's advantages to FEMA flood, which is the typical flood by the federal government. And there's a lot of new private flood companies, so they can be a little cheaper, move a little faster, pay the claims out. Also, they have a little more coverage and flexibility on the types of coverage and amounts of coverage that you can have, such as living somewhere else, other structures, refilling or cleaning your pool after a flood, and they can be a much cheaper option.
And when you say $600 to $700, is that per year?
Per year, correct. Yeah, so FEMA flood can be quite a bit more in certain situations. If you're in a flood zone, certain situations it can be cheaper, but for the most part, private flood, if they go bankrupt, they cannot pay out the claim. But I've seen very responsible behavior by some of these flood companies that they will wait until other parts of the country that they insure catches up with, let's just say Texas or Houston, before they start writing more policies. And I have seen one company re-enter the Houston market and give pretty good competitive rates.
So Andrew, for someone that already has homeowners insurance, how often should they be reviewing their policy?
I think they should be taking a look at it every year, just keeping up with it. They don't have to do a deep dive, but just opening mail and looking at the renewals, seeing if there's any notifications of deductible changes, coverage changes. Also, just doing an annual review with your insurance agent, just calling them and going over the policy and making sure, you don't have to make sure you're getting the bottom dollar every single time, but you're just within reason of the market and what's happening in the market.
Andrew, let's do some rapid fire questions here. So what is the most common insurance claim?
Roof.
What is the coverage that's most overlooked?
Definitely seepage and leakage.
Bundling, is it worth it?
Absolutely.
And flood insurance, yes or no?
Maybe. Well, you know what? If you lose sleep at night, then
yes. And then what is one feature that often earns homeowners a discount?
New roof. Yeah, they're actually caring more about the impact resistance. So it's not just class 4 impact resistant that's important now, but 1, 2, and 3 can earn you some sizable discounts.
Nice. So Andrew, when someone requests a quote, what are the determining factors that go into the cost of their premium?
Yeah, so there's a couple different factors. The biggest one is credit score. Credit score is huge. I would say that's probably the most important one. Get that credit score up, even if it's, you know, 700, 750, get it to 800, 850. I think it even goes higher than that. I think some of my clients said the FICO or something like that, right? Another thing that takes precedent is the age of the home is huge, because obviously an older home is more likely to have claims. The zip code, further north in DFW, or further north in general, you have more tornadoes, more hail.
So, Andrew, if you could leave every homeowner with one piece of advice about protecting their biggest financial asset, what would it be?
I would say having the right agent. Just like in real estate, having someone that really cares and takes the time to understand your situation and what coverages you need. You cannot pay someone enough to care about what they're doing. Insurance is a volume business. There's not a lot of individual, someone might not be being paid a lot of money, but even if they were, as you had said, this is not the most exciting part of the home buying process. And so if someone's not super interested or super cares, they're not going to do what's needed to care for you.
Right. So, Andrew, thank you so much for taking the time to spend with us today, and really appreciate your insight and your expertise, and teaching us some things that, I myself didn't know about homeowners insurance, and I'm sure the viewers as well. So I hope today's conversation has helped you better understand not only what homeowners insurance covers, but also why it's important to review your policy regularly, compare more than just price, and make sure you're properly protected before you ever need to file a claim. So if you're thinking about buying, selling, relocating, or investing in North Texas, I'd love to help you transition into your very own new beginning. Thank you for watching. If you found this video useful, please like, subscribe, or share. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.